The original Predator is one of the best action movies of the 80s. It took the ultimate action star of the time, paired him with an equally muscled team, and turned the genre on its head by mimicking the plot structure of a slasher flick. One by one, the biggest and baddest mercenaries fell victim to the iconic Predator, designed by the late great Stan Winston, leading to the ultimate alpha male showdown in a wonderfully directed third act with almost no dialogue. It's primal, simple and immaculate in its technical qualities. Predator 2 gets a lot of flack, but I actually kinda loved it for what it was. Sure, the direction is not even in the same league as its predecessor, but the city made for a great setting. Combined with an extremely charismatic casting, you had a fun, schlocky sequel that felt different to the original, despite the plot beats feeling very copy and paste. The franchise went on hiatus for over a decade before reviving as one half of the tedious and toothless Alien vs Predator. Somehow, it hit an even lower note in the downright atrocious Alien vs Predator Requiem. Last time we saw our extraterrestrial hunter was in a third dedicated film, Predators, a well-intentioned attempt to return the franchise to its roots. Once again we had a team of mercs in the jungle, but this time it's an alien jungle. Unfortunately, the characters never had the personality that worked in the first two films, and the script didn't have any momentum, leading to a final fight that felt unearned and emotionless. It's not bad, but it's not very memorable either. Enter Shane Black, a long-time writer of action movies and more recently director. Notably, Black starred in the original Predator. He's the one who tells the pussy jokes. The story goes is that he was hired in part so that someone would be on set to touch up dialogue in the script. Given how much I enjoy Black's recent work, especially The Nice Guys and Iron Man 3, easily the best Iron Man film, You Can Fight Me, and given his connection to the series, hearing news of him helming Predator 4 was extremely encouraging. So after a long wait and a little controversy, we're here to talk about The Predator. A rogue predator crashes on Earth and quickly crosses paths with sniper Quinn McKenna. McKenna survives the encounter and steals a few alien gadgets, including the Predator's mask. He mails the items to his family's home before a much meaner version of the Men in Black arrest him. Turns out there's a whole division devoted to studying predators, and upon interrogating McKenna, they throw him in a prison bus full of arrested ex-military types to discredit anything he'll say. The same division recruit Dr. Casey Brackett to study DNA of the predator they've since captured. But oh no! Our grumpy prisoner wakes up and causes chaos. Division leader Traeger deems that Dr. Brackett is an expendable witness and orders her death. Luckily for her, McKenna and the self-dubbed loonies have escaped their prison transport and saved the day. Now all of them are wanted dead for what they've seen. Meanwhile, we meet McKenna's autistic son Rory, who receives the alien weaponry in the mail and begins to tinker away. Unfortunately, the Predator wants his stuff back, and is making his way to the suburbs to retrieve it. If all this wasn't enough, the Predator homeworld has sent a bigger, badder, meaner Predator in pursuit of the original rogue Predator. Jeez, this movie's got a lot going on. I appreciate how different the premise of the film is compared to previous entries. As much as I love the slasher movie style, it was wearing thin by Predators. Shane Black and Fred Decker's script is full of personality. The characters might not be as strong as, say, The Nice Guys, but they outshine the cast in Predators by quite a margin. Not every joke lands, but many do, and there's a genuine effort for all the players to be memorable and likeable. This extends to the tone of the film, which is much more light-hearted than the franchise has typically been. Again, this isn't surprising given Black's style, but it is a notable breath of fresh air all the same. What is surprising is that the weakest character is actually Rory, played by Jacob Tremblay. Not that he gives a bad performance or doesn't have a few wisecracking moments that kids in Shane Black movies are known for, his character simply suffers from plot contrivances revolving around his autism. It's really quite strange to see a modern movie tackle the subject in such a dated way. His condition basically makes him the chosen one. Aside from feeling problematic, it makes Rory feel like more of a plot device than a character, which isn't uncommon for children in movies, but Black usually does better. Several plot elements suffer in places due to the breakneck speed of the pacing, and many developments are complete leaps in logic that don't feel earned. The motivation for the rogue predator in particular doesn't quite add up. I'd speculate that these issues resulted from a decision in the edit, and while it comes together fairly well, there are many small signifiers of a film that's been tampered with and reshot. One prominent character's demise is all but ruined by how insanely quick the edit is. The characters don't even really acknowledge it, so if you blinked and missed it, you'd leave the movie wondering why such an integral character just disappeared. Speaking of editing, there was a controversial scene featuring a registered sex offender that was pulled from the final cut. From descriptions and what remains in the movie, it's pretty clear that the scene was Olivia Munn's introduction as Dr. Brackett. What's left feels a touch abrupt as a result, but it's easily forgivable knowing the circumstances. Casting otherwise is exceptional. If anything, you'd argue that the film wastes some very talented actors in minor roles. While I've been critical thus far, I actually had a decent amount of fun with The Predator. Along with the entertaining characters, the film is very intentionally schlocky, and is filled with B-movie level concepts. The blood flows freely as the titular monster tears off limbs for a well-earned R rating. I do wish it slowed down at times to let us bask in the carnage, but what is there is delightfully gruesome. Even the basic premise of a gargantuan predator is simple cheesy stuff. The cheesometer goes off the scale with the expected sequel bait in the film's conclusion. What the tease introduces comes directly from a 12-year-old's brain in the best possible way. The movie as a whole is also very inventive with how it uses Predator technology that we're already familiar with in previous films. Predator does pay homage to the first two films in the series, with the events of both receiving references. Amusingly, Predator 2 was set in the alternate future of 1997, so I got a good chuckle when a character brought it up. We even get a cameo from Jake Busey, playing the son of the character his father, Gary Busey, played in Predator 2. Despite its intentions to move forward, the new entry clearly respects the lineage of the franchise. We even see some alien dogs, which loosely connects it to Predators. I guess that just leaves the AVP films unaccounted for. Shame. We can't really wrap up this review without discussing the Uber Predator. It's a decent idea, but he's marred by two main problems. Firstly, is that unlike the classic Predator, he's completely CG. Mediocre CG at that, meaning that his presence just doesn't have the same impact that his predecessor does. Secondly, the movie's so focused on the human antagonist that the Uber Predator acts as more of a third party, rather than the real threat. Whether you enjoy the Predator or not is really going to depend on your own taste. If you appreciate Black's sense of humour and sci-fi of a cheesier flavour, then you'll likely find enough to enjoy, especially if you're fond of the series and its mythology. However, it's a messy film that feels edited down, and lacks the breathing room to really develop its characters or make you care about the stakes in the story. It's really no surprise that the reviews have been so mixed, and I can't really fault anyone for a negative opinion here. As a fan of Shane Black, I'd say this ranks as one of his weakest films, which is a shame given that the pairing of him and Predator felt like a match made in heaven, but it is easily the best film in the series since Predator 2. Now that might not be saying a whole lot for most people, but if you do dig the second film in the franchise, you might find enjoyment in what the new entry has to offer. Thanks for checking out the review, guys. If you'd like to show your support, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv.